It was a weekend in Chicago, you know what that means. A whole bunch of shootings for a place that has very strict gun control. And then 10 people are also dead as well. Might be adding one more to that killed because there's still one officer in critical condition at this point. But yes, 2 officers were shot point blank at a routine traffic stop. One is dead, and we'll get more into her in a second. And another one, yes, is still in critical condition. And like it says here, a total of 73 people were shot in Chicago over the weekend, with 10 murders recorded. The CPD said on August 9th, approximately 45 shootings took place between the 6th on 6 p.m. and August 8th, just before midnight, according to CPD officials. The shootings left 63 people injured and 10 dead in the third largest city in the United States. 9 other shootings took place in the city on August 6th before 6 p.m., according to the incident reports compiled by the CPD. In one incident, a 29-year-old female police officer identified as Ella French was gunned down at a traffic stop on August 7th. A second officer at the scene was left injured, but more about Officer French in a moment. It was the first time since 2018 that a police officer was fatally shot in the line of duty. We have a common enemy. It's guns and the gangs, said Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot. Really? It's guns. You're right with the second half of that statement. It is a gang problem. But the guns that would just be lying there like a fucking mouse. If nobody picks them up, nobody fires them. It's them. We need to continue to get them off the street, because obviously all of the over-governing that is happening right now, that has really helped in stopping the fact that there is approaching triple-digit shootings in your city on any given weekend. These used to be staggering numbers for a long weekend. It still would be, but they're far worse then. And the outcome this time around, an officer's dead because you don't do your job, because you don't support the police, okay? Because you make everything about criticism of you, oh, it's racism or sexism or cartoonism because people don't like Beetlejuice. It's canceling one of the biggest parades, one of the biggest outings for the Chicago Police Officers Fraternal Order. Canceling that because of the COOF 2 years in a row. It's constantly blaming them for whenever some kind of fucking little gangbanger ends up getting shot because, yeah, they had a gun on them. I forget it. Dante Wright was up there in Minneapolis. That 13-year-old little fuck who had a gun in his waistband, chucked it behind the fence, and then was also fleeing from the cops. That was in Chicago. And then pillorying those officers before you had any of the facts out there. Oh, we can't just let unarmed black kids continue to get shot. He was armed. He was fleeing. He was also resisting arrest. What more do you want? What more do you want? Here's what dickhead had to say. Eradicating both is complex, but we cannot let the size of the challenge deter us. We have to continue skirting hard blows every day. No gang member, drug dealer, gun dealer can ever have a moment of peace on any block in any neighborhood, not in our city, especially not her city though, or her block, or her neighborhood. They're patrolled by armed guards, but nobody else is allowed to have protection for themselves. Because all she's going after is legal, law-abiding gun owners by enacting more gun laws. Okay, who's still gonna get those guns anyways? The drug dealers, the gun dealers who, I don't know, she's one of these morons who think that there's probably a gun show loophole when transactions like that are happening in the fucking South Side every fucking day, every minute of every fucking hour. You can probably go buy a fucking Glock out of the back of somebody's trunk. But do you think gangbangers is like, oh man, you know what, Lori Lightfoot, man, she really passed that other fucking gun law, man. I don't know if I can really risk carrying around this piece anymore, man. I really gotta fucking throw it away now. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna happen. I don't think that's going to happen, but please do keep trying. More good people will flee from Chicago as you turn it into a desolate fucking Mad Max wasteland. To get there, we must be united and single-minded in our determination to just do that. Okay, it's very funny when she talks about, really horrific things happening in the city of Chicago. But whenever she's talking about, oh, I'm getting personally attacked, and oh, I need to do this, and oh, you calling me a hypocrite? Well, guess what? I need to do certain things because I'm a mayor. She personalizes the attack of the job that she does as a mayor, but then when there's legit criticism about her not tackling gun violence by gangbangers that happen all the time, it's all of a sudden a we problem. I find a little bit of a rhetorical breakdown here. And apparently the police have, just really had enough. And you hate to see it under the circumstances, because that officer, Ella French, getting shot and killed during a routine traffic stop, that sucks, okay? That should never fucking happen. We don't know all the circumstances of this, and if she was, on the other side of that gun, we would clearly have, or rather in a different circumstance, if this was one of those, oh, she was just an unarmed black lady and she was shot dead, and they'd be out there chanting her name in the streets, burning things down in her name. But no, we don't have barely any information as to this shooting, and Lightfoot apparently tried to show up at the hospital that she was pronounced dead at, and her partner, who was also shot and was in critical condition. Pretty sure he is still right now. Lightfoot showed up there for a photo op, but like it says here in the headline, Chicago cops turned their backs on Lori Lightfoot at a late-night hospital visit for wounded officers. Good. Good. Treat her as well as she treats you. Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot got an icy reception from dozens of police over the weekend when she visited the hospital where the surviving cop at a traffic stop was in critical condition. His female partner, 29-year-old Officer Ella French, died from her injuries. She had just returned from maternity leave and left behind an infant daughter. That is something that's being disputed right now, okay? She just came back from leave. We don't know for sure if it's maternity leave, and we don't know for sure if she has a daughter. There's conflicting reports out there, but still, that is an additional tragedy, but don't let it detract from the fact that, this was an officer shot just doing a routine traffic stop. The scene at Chicago Medical Center at midnight on Saturday is described by the Chicago Sun-Times. Nearly 30 CPD officers accompanied the critically injured male officer's family in the waiting room of the 7th floor. The guy's father is a retired police officer and gave Lori Lightfoot his opinion as she was to blame for his son's situation. Totally agree. Over the summer, Chicago's mayor instituted new police policies about their ability to chase suspects on foot, but also admitted to her city's crime problem and needing federal help. She's terrible. She's terrible. It was the first video that was ever published on this channel. It was breaking down all of the hypocrisies and all of just the absolute stupid decisions. Like, these are easily avoidable optical nightmares that could have lessened the criticism on her if she didn't have to get a fucking haircut when everything was locked down, because I have to be on TV. Could have avoided a lot of that stuff, but she is a high-level narcissist. She hasn't really learned from anything. No, she's in fact just doubled and tripled down. Like, I'm not going to take any questions from any reporter that isn't as black as I am. Of course, I'm being hyperbolic, but not that much. Anyways, Lightfoot listened to what the father had to say as a retired cop yelled at her, but then Chicago's mayor tried to move things along by making a more general speech to the crowd of cops. I'm sure that would have went well. That's when the group collectively turned their backs on her. The photo below was provided by an alderman. Let's take a look at this, because I haven't seen it. I'd imagine that's probably what's in the title card up at the front, but yeah, it fucking rules. Absolutely rules. Enough with her shit. Enough with her empty fucking words. Chicago's Fraternal Order of Police President John Catanzaro told the outlet the police officers' decision to turn their backs on the mayor while waiting with a family on the 7th floor was significant. Turning their backs on the mayor was an excellent example of how hundreds of police officers felt waiting outside the hospital. Last part refers to the vigil crowd who had gathered outside the emergency entrance. Scenes outside the hospital in Chicago last night. We'll take a look at that because I did see a little picture of this before doing this, and yeah, it's so sad. It really is. Because yeah, whenever anybody gets shot, it is tragic. And I know general platitude, right, Don? But they're just doing their job. And it's not like, oh, they're chasing somebody down, telling them to fucking put on their mask and just doing their job. These are people who are suspected to have been doing something, getting pulled over, and then instead of just, I don't know, conversing with the officers like real fucking people, because at the end of the day, she was a 29-year-old female cop who, yeah, we don't know the conduct that she was doing at the time. And if she just returned from leave, yeah, she might be a little bit rusty, okay? We could throw out all of the different excuses that you want, but then at the end of the day, that just ends up bogging down the conversation, and we don't really reach a productive end point. All we know is that, yeah, Chicago PD is down a good one, but we do know who got him, because this right here, this is late breaking. Two brothers charged in fatal shooting of Chicago cop Ella French. 21-year-old Amante Morgan and brother Eric Morgan face charges over the deadly shootout with cops. Good. Glad their lives are going to be spent in fucking jail. Is the death penalty still around in Illinois? Not too sure. The main suspects in the weekend traffic stop shooting of 2 Chicago police officers in which Ella French lost her life are 2 brothers. They're actually brothers, not, the colloquial brother, who were out on probation from previous crimes. Good. Throw away the book. Normally I'm against forced jabs, but it depends on what's going to be in that syringe this time around. Might make an exception. The announcement came via the Chicago Police Department's media briefing within the last hour. The young woman that was in the car with the 2 brothers has not been charged. They further specified, referring to the 3rd woman who was in the car with them. The 2 were said to be brothers. 21-year-old Amonte Morgan is charged with first-degree murder of a peace officer, attempted murder in the first degree of a peace officer, 2 counts, aggravated unlawful use of a weapon, and unlawful use of a weapon by a felon. 19-year-old Eric Morgan faces charges of aggravated unlawful use of a weapon, unlawful use of a weapon by a felon, and obstruction of justice. Good. Throw away the keys. The 3rd suspect is 29-year-old Jamal Danzy. He was charged earlier today for purchasing the gun that was used in the fatal shooting of Officer Ella French. He brought it back in March from a gun dealer and then passed it off to someone else in Illinois with a criminal record, despite saying the paperwork he bought the gun for himself. Oh, but if he actually was like the son of the president, the exact same situation that Hunter Biden was in, he would have been fine. He wouldn't have got charged with any felonies. But them be the breaks in Illinois. It sucks to suck. Stop living in blue states. CPD authorities said they recovered 7,536 guns so far this year, a 23% increase over a year ago. More gun laws would lead to more illegal guns, so that's why we're here. They go on to specify that since the events of Ella French's weekend death, they have recovered 33 more guns since Sunday alone. They describe every encounter as a gun with a potential deadly force encounter. That's why there are certain differences, and that is why there are certain things that officers are allowed to do. So yeah, looks like there's going to be some kind of justice for French's family, and hopefully that other officer pulls through. But as much as you can, it looks like this story does have a quasi-happy ending. Still sucks, but guy's been got. And that also speaks to the fact that you never know when it's all going to be over. I know not everybody works in a job that is as high stress and high danger as a police officer, but there's something as simple as just driving home at the end of the day, driving to work at the beginning of the day when you're first waking up. It can be dangerous, so just pay attention, because you're always going to have somebody at the end of the day or at the beginning of the day that wants to see your face. So don't ever take that for granted. With that said, I thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.